And without further ado, I'm going to introduce my fellow volunteer, Uber Resting.
All right. Thank you so much, Jackie. So today we wanted to do something different. Okay, normally we do presentations. Today we have a special guest and we're going to be chatting with him. And, if you have any questions, I would ask you to keep it to the very end because we're going to be actually doing question and answers back and forth with him. And same thing online, please, if you want to pose your questions, do it on the chat. We'll be chatting with a serial entrepreneur today, Fernando Mendez. And Fernando was born in South America. He's an industrial engineer. After college, he joined McKinsey and for a couple of years, and then he went on to do an MBA in finance from MIT. He returned to McKinsey after that. In the year 2000, he founded My Web Americas to provide TV-based access to the internet in Latin America. Where PC penetration was pretty low at the time. He grew that operation in Brazil and Mexico up to 114 full-time employees. After exiting that venture, he founded Iberium Systems, which was a Linux-based security firm providing security solutions for small and medium business. And 4 years later, he also exited that. And in 2008, here in Seattle, he founded Audience, B2B, business-to-business marketing and communications firm targeting technology companies. So he completed a successful exit with that company in 2022. Fernando lives here up the road in Bellevue and is here today with us to share his perspective. So please welcome our special guest, Fernando Mendez. Idiot. Please. Are we sitting? Yes, we are sitting. Let me do this. Let's we're done. Very happy to be here. I like that it's relatively small boat side and meeting in Warner. So let me start first of all with gratitude, right? I can't really say, how grateful I am that you accepted to. I've been running behind you for quite a bit to get to here. The knowledge and yeah. And experience. Thank you. So that's quite a resume, Fernando. Did I get everything right? Does that sound? Yeah. So 7 years ago, ran all companies. You were kind to say exited, but 3 of them actually failed. So, and then I think that as well here for me today a lot. I think that what I enjoy the value of my advice comes more from those failures from the one that I had to actually exit or sell. Right. They say earn or learn, right? And they, either earn, learn a lot along the way. Right. So you founded Audience in 2008 and it's described as a consultancy for top cloud services organizations. Can you explain us a little bit what did that company do or what does it keep doing? So something is very common in technology. People focus on their products. So you can see not only small companies, but also large corporations like Microsoft and Amazon. And then I saw an opportunity to bring the perspective of the audience in all what they were doing. So again, from just pushing the product features to actually talking about what are the benefits for specific audiences, and then that's where that was the opportunity that we went after and worked really well. So we essentially everything that we did started with audience research, and then all the campaigns I think were highly effective. They were targeting or sensitive anchor in the audience as opposed to the products. Looking more at the benefits and what the customer gets. So how did you get to that idea? How was process developed? 2005, I came here to Seattle and worked in a consultancy for Microsoft. So I spent from 2005 to 2008 working in Microsoft. And that's how I served.
Were you searching for an idea for a business, or this was more like you stumbled upon it and you said this could be a business?
That's a great point. I think when you were serial entrepreneur, you're always thinking about the next idea only.
Mm.
So I saw when I arrived here, I was looking for. Well, I became partner in 2006, but I was always thinking about what's next, right? So the next idea. So well, that's kind of a what's mindset of the entrepreneur, part of the mindset.
So you kind of stumbled into it by searching for it.
What's interesting is,
Right.
again, part of the advice is uh, let's look to transform yourself because at my kids, I was doing banking consulting. So and I did an MBA corporate finance and I did M&A and mergers and acquisitions. That the audience was all about marketing. So I reinvented myself into a marketing person, and it worked really well.
Right.
I actually like marketing. So in my background in finance, so I saw the opportunity in marketing, and that's one for it.
Awesome. So did you have a partner or a co-founder in this process? And
So actually, no, I brought two partners late in the game.
Mhm.
So in total, the company lasted 13 years independently, and then I think I brought partners the last 3 years.
why?
That's a great question. I I I actually operated on a model that I gave a lot of independence to everybody. So in a way, I made them feel partners from a autonomy, responsibility, and also for the compensation point of view. I always my philosophy was compensating based on contribution. So in other words, you could be a very senior person in the company and then be compensated as a partner early on. So it's almost like partnership wasn't necessarily a big step up. So that's why I think, in other words, I like the idea of everybody's partner. And then that's how we operate. Yeah.
Cool. And so did you bootstrap that operation? Did you search for funding? How?
Not really, grew really organically. So started with a few projects, adding more people, more projects. Suddenly, first I realized with this any piece of advice is the importance of having your own team. So typically, Laura, outsource that, but then those people don't really meet through the vision, right? So even though it was hard for me at the beginning, I ended up hiring people full time. And then that was also part of my view of the success of the company. So when it's a huge difference. Working people with that culture, but it's the skate culture of customer service. You have needed the so we went all the way. So most of our people were actually the
Nice. And so you're saying basically it's not just a commitment, but it's also the understand the business that you're in instead of having someone outsource who just comes by, flies over, right? And does their thing.
continuity, line service, but also helping build the company. So we involve everybody in helping build the company. So very powerful approach.
So when you started, you mentioned that you had a few projects and you kind of grew from there and another project came. So did you have any project before you even started the company? No.
I remember going out every day and saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna work," but I was taking golf lessons. Someone, well, I did advertise my company on capabilities. I sent that out to people, and then I remember around 2 months doing marketing, and until someone called,
No.
and then I actually worked with her for 13 years. We're still friends.
Wow.
First client, yeah, in my biggest sponsor.
So when you were sending out that those documents, advertising the capabilities, etc., were you leveraging your current contacts at the time? Or?
Yes. yeah.
So you were not reaching outside of people who you didn't. Okay.
I think it's very important when you look at clients is to start with affinity. So affinity can be same school or in same neighborhood. So that's the starting point. So when I did it, for instance, each alumni have been extremely valuable, and that's affinity. So I get around 40% response, and I send out emails and I've got a
I do.
this time in my career. So I think we tend to follow groups, certain types, and then all like to help each other in those groups. So uh, having a core is really hard because there is not many.
All right. So now you have a new community that you're intersecting with.
Yes.
All right. So I think you already answered this question, but I was going to ask you why Seattle, but I remember we spoke before and you were telling me this difference between Seattle and Silicon Valley, how they operate. Can you tell me a little bit about that, the B2B aspect of things?
So I love Seattle since first visit. I love seafood. So when I saw abundance crabs, I want to leave. At the time, I didn't have any opportunity in San Francisco, so I want to leave Brazil because Brazil is a really difficult place for a entrepreneur. So I have been there 8 years already. So, but anyway, back to your question. Yes, so as an entrepreneur, you have to keep in mind the type of investors on every region, and Seattle is highly B2B. Anything that's of Microsoft and Amazon, right? So in order to be able to consumer idea, you better think move to San Francisco.
It's going to be hard.
They want you to be part of their cult. So it won't work that you say, well, I want money from you, but then I want to be in Seattle. I want to stay here.
What you
But if you have a big fear, Seattle is like me.
Nice. So, when you started out, you had this idea of doing marketing for the bringing in the audience, etc. But you had an initial idea. How did that idea change in terms of the offer? Did you actually end up selling what you were offering, or did that offer change throughout the life of the company and as you were gaining customers? So did you shape it different?
Absolutely. We ended up with 10 practice areas. So we started with essentially on a maybe marketing strategy, but then you get up, I said, the 10 practice areas. So it was, I want to say, organically. So we saw that with anything that fits channel marketing. Channel marketing became one of our biggest areas. And that was, I want to say, based on demand, really based on opportunities. So as you know, these big technology companies like Amazon and Microsoft, they have huge channel networks. So 400,000 or more in the case of Microsoft, and then they're really the one pushing the products. So there's a lot of challenges in actually doing effective marketing, sales campaign on the channel. So that became then a complete competitive strategy, became the market research, a go-to-market strategy. So in that back to the culture of ownership. So everyone can every practice have a leader, and they will do the meeting, will do the content, right? So what's really cool to see that people growing in any scale.
Nice. So 13 years later, fast forward there, you sell the company to the channel company, right? Or more accurately, to the PE firm who actually owns this company, right? And so tell us a little bit about that process. How, did you approach the buyer? Did they approach you? how went the process? You know, we talked about due diligence and all that. So,
I think the back to learnings, we tend to think learning or exit the IPO or, well, in this case, it was an acquisition, but it opened my eyes, this whole experience to how, how organized and efficient is the private equity market in the US. So they approach me. So, by the way, when I say they, there are different players. And this case was like the scouts found me, and then they find me, and then pass me to this private equity company, and then that's how the whole thing started. I wasn't necessarily looking, so it's interesting because they approached me in 2019, and COVID hit, and our business actually exploded in the positive way. It really cold because everything went virtual, so my clients were all, you know, crazy looking for help. So we grew about 5%.
wow.
So then we engaged again around September of 2020, and then we ended up closing September 2020.
So, was there anything painful about that process?
So you will hear something called due diligence.
Okay.
So they want to know everything about you. It's like a better analogy. It's like a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
So they really believe into your financials, all of your contracts. They like to go to all of your clients.
Mm.
In what's been frustrating is that they do it multiple times.
Yes.
First, the legal will be the financial will be, right? So it's tiring. But I come from the financial world, and I've done many acquisitions, so I understand the process. So I think that's why earlier was not bad for me.
So when you think that it's done, it's still not done. It will come back again.
All the players on their side, I really like the integrity. So there wasn't, you hear like, oh, those private equity, they're so aggressive, you know, they're like jerks. But I thought just nice people, reasonable requests. We had a kind of a peaceful negotiation, really fact based, the due diligence. It was faithful but reasonable. So, and then I really like the channel company people, and then one of the things that made me super happy is to see how many people from audience, you know, saw the opportunity and grew fantastically see the acquisition part of the organization. Which, by the way, it's part of American competence, right? So you know, it's something they should expect. So you're working on a company that is medium size, and there's a big chance that it's going to get acquired.
Mm. Yeah. So, any hard feelings about letting go of your baby? I mean, you grew this for 13 years, and then you're just suddenly out. So,
I think it just feels weird. Not bad thing, but because you get into a regular, you kind of format your brain into habits. Like machine, boom, 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 boom. And suddenly being like quiet, right? So you're like, wow, what's going on, right? So I've been dealing with that for a year and a half now. So that's, yeah, I've been taking, and I highly recommend taking time off after you sell your first company in the second.
I will do that. So, you're an ex-McKinsey. How did that help in this whole process of founding?
All and in a career.
You mentioned the relationships, but what?
They really invested in my first startup,
Hmm.
my wife.
Okay.
So every point in my career, I leveraged the network. So they're very, okay, put it, there are a lot of MNCs, the Microsoft, the Amazon, they find them everywhere. So it has been very, very lucky. And then I use McKinsey methodology for work at training people. So you guys are just grateful.
Wow. So you just mentioned not,
Big consulting company.
yeah, based in Australia originally, right? Yeah.
New York.
Yeah. So the You just mentioned my web America. So, can you tell us a little bit about that and how that was? It was internet based,
Yeah.
right? So, how was that?
Funny, before we started, we were talking about purpose. And if you just, there's a point in the life of an entrepreneur that you start thinking as a game. I want to win, right? But it's fantastic when you find a company that has a purpose.
Mm.
So in this case, my Web Americas, the purpose was to create the internet to low income families. Which we did. So at the time in Brazil, PC penetration was at 15%. Yeah, the internet advertising was everywhere. So you have these frustrated people like, okay, what is that? Right? How can I access that? And that's what we try to do by bringing a set-top box. So we'll turn your TV into a PC monitor, so you can access the internet with your TV.
Yeah, at that time,
That was the idea.
at that time, a PC was what, like $2,000, something like that.
In Brazil, the tax mold that they have is just crazy expensive. They typically are expensive and all hardware. So what's the we launched it in Brazil and in Mexico. And in Mexico, we make money and sell the device. It's still $80, $100 per device.
You lost later.
Yeah, that's subsidized because the access.
Gotcha. So that's my Web Americas. You also did Iberian Systems.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a completely different business.
One advice that I can give, it's always, but then it's what just stay on top of the trends, right? So at the time that I had to close my web, Linux was coming up, and I thought that Linux is going to be like a big revolution. It ended up being more like an evolution. But I wanted to have I did think that it was going to be a good opportunity. So that's what we pursued. We ended up creating a product with Compact at the time, which is up ZHP and Edge server. But again, it's very challenging to sell software in Brazil. There's that culture, or there used to be a culture of pirated software. So it's very challenging. That's when at the end of that company, I decided I'd rather come here. And then I believe this still is a lot of opportunity. I've been in the American dream for about 18 years.
So all those three companies, so you have My Web Americas is consumer based. Iberium is more about developing solutions that are going to be sold almost like in a package way.
Yeah.
And Audience is very bespoke and custom made for every single customer. So all three of them are very different business models. How did you navigate that, and did that pose any issues for you?
Good question. I think part of the benefit of being a consultant is you allow to take. I developed this standing, so learning bit slow, really quickly, because that's what is required to do. So I work in beer, I work in pulp and paper, I work in banking. So you have you have 3 weeks to learn these things and try and understand the addicts with business models and why I was able to put the shit it's small. But Audience, which is the one that grew and became more successful, was positioning consultant, which is something that I believe
Right. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that by doing consulting, you learn not to see. So you see the world through the eyes of those different businesses. Right.
So I help you navigate or switch quickly.
Yeah. So you're big on something that you call the unstoppable culture.
Yeah.
What is that?
So there's one book that I always recommend, is The Obstacle Away. So I've seen many entrepreneurs who failed, which by the way, I failed and then give up. So this idea of being unstoppable is that you have to keep going. you have to expect trouble. You have to expect that you're gonna fail. But you have to fail right. You have to fail with integrity, you learn, just keep going. So that is kind of this idea of the unstoppable. And I like it. That's kind of my philosophy at work because the first time I went, I have to lay off like 140 people. So most stuff, keep moving.
Was that the darkest hour of that you had to go through? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other that comes to mind?
Interesting. So, well, something that, anyway, back to being unstoppable. I remember when I started audience meeting with Microsoft Procurement, and they telling me that I will never work with Microsoft. So they would say that they straight up. It's like I will never get a vendor I meet. And then back to being unstoppable, I had the vendor the 3 weeks. So, but afterwards, it's shocking.
You like
The new
watch me.
technology, because I believe that I could put it anyway. I don't want to go into repeat.
Yeah.
Something that Apple probably ended it wrong person. I know everything from Microsoft. Also, that's separate corporation laws, laws. The aging, I think, is all oxygen here in Seattle. Like,
Right.
So yeah, I expect.
Yeah, I tend to see that there are other communities that are trying to drive innovation and they lack. One of the good things about the Silicon Valley or the Bay Area and Seattle is they have these big claws of larger companies that bring in talent, and then that talent kind of like cyclically falls out and starts something new.
Here we're the center of the cloud. I know with AI, it all might sound less sexy, but it's a huge move.
Yeah.
The cloud is just beginning in the B2B space.
Mhm.
It's just fantastic. But I also say back to this idea of unstoppable. Being an entrepreneur, it's like there's the same analogy in sports. It's very mental. So what's very important is that we don't create a negative reality. So it's that you believe. It's like I always use the analogy from the Matrix. So Neo starts doing stuff when he believes he's the one. So I use that all the time, particularly in the context of sales, the area where all the entrepreneurs hate. I ended up actually loving it. And you are going to have to love it because you have to be, every entrepreneur has to be self. But there is no way to, unless you're like a deep technical, like, but anyway, my point is that it's very mental, and then you have to always touch yourself and then don't create negative realities. It's, you will have to always believe in what you're doing. Well, it sounds like, new age bullshit, but it's
Yeah. Before we sat down, I kind of would like you to talk to it a little bit. You were talking about how, what is leadership? What is the role of the CEO? Right? So can you talk a little bit about that, about making decisions and so forth?
Yes. So I think that, as always, I see it a little of the carrot and stick. So I think for most important is you have to be the visionary person. So I like to say that every job can be extremely boring or extremely exciting. And I always tell people, you have to make it exciting for yourself, but a leader has a very important role in making people feel excited, motivated to wake up, to go to work, right? So, and then sometimes, oh my God, I'm going to do these boring things, but I have my roles on the vision of what we're doing together, right? So that is what a leader does. From an output point of view, I like to compare leaders to an Ironman coach. Mm-hmm. So, not to say that, but anyway, when you finish an Ironman, you don't believe you did that. It's so crazy. it's like, and then I see a good leader is one that takes the team to milestones that the team said that, oh my God, I couldn't believe
Awesome.
we were, we did. I didn't think that as a team we were capable of this. That is
Right. You were telling me a little bit about the decision making also.
yeah. Well, the good leader has to decide quickly, and then it has to decide with the complete information. So it's interesting because we live on an age of excess information for anything, and then it's very easy to actually get yourself locked in what I call analysis paralysis. There is a hundred reasons why you shouldn't be doing editing, right? So it's going to be nothing. And I think the leader breaks that quickly. It could be gut feeling or instinct or expertise. But the leader is that person that makes decisions. And I found people sometimes hesitate to make decisions because of they don't want to commit to the outcome.
Right.
And that's where the leader really comes in. And then most importantly is with incomplete information, without you. That's the true leader.
So a couple of more questions before we go to the audience. So, how do you see the funding scenario right now? Is it
Always exit one. Here, it's one thing. Money everywhere. Keep on building and there's more. Unbelievable. You just have to, well, people know what you need. You need good idea, you need a good team. I think right now, I would say the issue is not the money, it's the people. How do you create a new team? That is the biggest challenge. It goes back to your vision. So you have to be able to convince people following you. And it is this. I think it's beyond money. It's like when you have a purpose, you're excited about it, you're committed, and people follow you. But it's not the money really. My view is the team.
Yeah, they say the money is on the jockey, not on the horse, right?
Correct. Oh, and then in various stages, all investors, they keep saying it's a school, they left in people. They don't, obviously you have to have a good idea, but it's really the people, they invest in teams.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. They're a solid team.
Yeah, so you need the team to be able to move the business forward and get the money, but you need a vision so that the people join. Right. Right. Very cool. So I wanted to have one more thing here. Let's see.
What do you got?
Do you think we can get audio here? More? On Instagram. The internet. Nothing dies on the internet. Do you think you can do audio? No? It's the TV's audio, I believe. So you're an accomplished or really good classical guitar player. There you go. Very sharp. Wow. Who's that guy? What player does that play in your whole town?
I think that's keep your mental health.
Yeah.
And then that's my meditation there. So that's how I relax. So like I say this because my teachers they keep telling me that I like to give myself a chance. So I won't like to play the art difficult stuff.
Okay.
But I've been learning to just enjoy it and then you use it as a mind, like
Base it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like my normal,
Well, it's I play instruments as well, and it's when you get in that state of flow, you're kind of like your mind clears and you're just doing that. Right?
For me, something I do every day. You're running, mountain bike, whatever. We live surrounded by water, so related to the water here. And the guitar, right?
All right. So thank you, Fernando. That was great. I enjoyed it.